You can feel successful with Inktober regardless of when you're watching this video, just by following the tips I'm about to share with you. Now today, we're going to take a look at my first week of Inktober drawings for this season, while we cover my best tips I've gleaned from 8 years of participating in this challenge. So what we're looking at now is my first drawing for prompt number 1, which was Mustache. And it was in brainstorming this prompt that really set the tone for my Inktober practice. Now, I knew that I wanted to make a book out of the prompts. I did it last year, so I wanted to keep it up. And I knew that that would involve my characters, Lulu, a 7-year-old girl, and her dog, Pal. So, as I was looking at the prompts and trying to think about what the story might be, the first prompt, Mustache, had me think of an old time vintage circus strong man with the handlebar mustache. And that one prompt set the stage for the rest of my book being set in the circus. At its core, the Inktober challenge is about leveling up. Its creator, Jake Parker, designed it to push himself to level up his drawing and inking. And leveling up should be the same goal for you in participating in Inktober. This is your practice. You decide how much effort you want to put into it, and you decide what you want to get out of it. For me, participating in Inktober is about getting a little better year after year, since I decided to focus on improving my art. I like that I have some focus to my art practice every year. It gives me a season where I can see growth from the start to the end of the season, just between drawing number 1 and drawing number 31, as well as something to compare my work over the years. So when we take a look at this, you know, I am really impressed personally with this drawing on my behalf. I was afraid before starting the challenge that I would not see any improvement. I don't feel like I improved a lot, but it was only when I compared this drawing with the drawings from my last 2 years that you'll see here that I can see the growth. In the first year that I completed Inktober 2 years ago, there was my drawing of Lulu, and you can see the back of her head. And in my second year of Inktober, in my drawing of Lulu, she looks like a hobbit. This was not intentional. But this year, I actually did a Google search on the average height of a 7-year-old American girl and the average height of a border collie, and I learned how you measure heights of dogs, which I had never known. I cared that the perspective was correct. I stood up and figured out what a 48-inch tall girl's sight line would be to a poster on a wall. I really took care in accuracy. This is my third time completing it, so I have developed the skills along the way to do it simply. So don't strive to make drawings like mine. Strive to make drawings like yours. So let's move into my best tips that I have gleaned year after year over attempting the Inktober challenge. I first attempted the Inktober challenge in 2018, and I got the first prompt done. And it continued like that. For the first 4 years, I did a total of 9 prompts. And then I did 11 prompts the following year. And then finally in 2023, I completed it. So this is what I've learned along the way. Tip number 1 is play the long game. Your goal should be to just keep coming back to this practice year over year. Eventually grow to complete it. It took me 5 years before I did. And you'll get there. But it's okay if you don't finish the whole thing this year. Start it. That's your goal. Right now, if you haven't started it, start it. If you haven't finished it, finish it. If you've finished it, then your goal should be to get better. So You can grow to create more intricate drawings. You can grow to create drawings and illustrations that are in the styles that you admire. And until you get to that dream place, the rest is just practice. It's fun, it's focused practice for 1 month out of the year. All of our art practices deserve at least that. So that was tip number 1, play the long game. Now, tip number 2 is you can make your own rules. Truly. I mean, this is your own art practice, and no matter what else is published or what rules are posted, just you do you. So what we're looking at now is me doing me for prompt number 2, weave. And I am weaving roses and flowers and butterflies and ribbons into Lulu's hair. I've always been challenged with drawing hair, and this was no exception. It kind of, hurts my brain a little bit. So it was definitely something that I wanted to work on this year. So back to tip number 2, where you can make your own rules. Now, the official rules for Inktober are actually pretty simple. Draw the prompt in ink, post it, use the hashtags. That's it. But if you don't want to do the posting, no one is going to come and smack your hands. And then you don't use the hashtags, which means the rules are pretty simple. Draw. Use ink. It really is that simple. And every other rule or condition or thing that you see out there in the world is all just other people's rules. And people have a really hard time not imposing their rules that they make up on others. So I am here to give you permission to make up your own rules. And I do make up my own rules every single year, and they change and evolve and have changed and evolved along with me. So it can be that simple. Draw. Maybe use ink. Make up your own rules. I am loving the way this drawing is coming out. I'm particularly impressed with my inking of these butterflies. It was so much fun to create. Now, tip number 3 is it's not too late to get started. And I know that this is true no matter what day you are listening to this message. Grab the latest prompt list and just draw. It's okay that it's just drawing for you. Even if you're watching this in February and just found out about Inktober, don't wait. Just grab last year's prompt list and give yourself the challenge. This challenge is for you, and it can happen at any time. It's nice when you do it along with the community. That's an additional element, but I'm telling you, the first couple of years, you're not going to really want to participate with the community. You're going to be embarrassed by your drawings as you're just getting started. Even as you're proud, you'll get on social media, you'll see other people, you will feel embarrassed. So the community element of Inktober is about finding inspiration for the artist that you want to be. And it's about, when you're ready, sharing your work. So in the beginning, it doesn't matter if you do it in the exact number of days. It doesn't matter if you do it with the people. What matters is that you do it. So it's never too late to get started. Any time of year, any day that you're watching this, any time of day. Don't wait. Grab a list and get drawing. Now, tip number 4 is, if it's your first time, keep it stupidly simple. If you have never completed Inktober before, your goal should be simply to finish. Don't try and make your best artwork. Don't try to have a creative interpretation of every prompt. Be obvious. Here's my strategy for you. Grab the very first reference photo that comes up in a search for the prompt word. See, decision fatigue is a really common reason for quitting. If you are open to every possible interpretation of the word mustache on the planet, then it's going to be really hard for you to decide which one you want to draw. So pick the very first reference, even if you don't love it. Remember, this is an exercise. And then doodle it. That's right, doodle. So when it comes to completing Inktober, your ego is your enemy. You see artists out there on social media creating complex doodles, even like me, developing characters or stories. But the people that you see doing that have done this challenge for a couple of years. They've established a consistent practice or a consistent art practice, even if it's not specifically Inktober. How do I know this? Because that's the only way that you can produce beautiful, amazing drawings on a consistent basis. You have to have developed those skills through practice. So, in the beginning, just doodle. Keep it light. Your goal is to finish, and it can be that stupidly simple. Do not do what you see me doing here in prompt number 3, crown. I decided that I wanted to do a foreshortened card that is upside down. So right now, and for most of me working on this illustration, I worked on it upside down so that I could see the face and get the proportions right. It took me forever to draw this one out because it was kind of breaking my brain to do something both upside down and foreshortened. But I'm really happy with the results when it's all over. Now, tip number 5 is to set skill-focused goals. And this is where you go beyond your first Inktober and into your second, your third, and once you've completed Inktober for the first time. So this is more of an advanced tip, but it really is the secret to staying interested in and challenged by Inktober. Since we're playing the long game, we're just trying to level up a little bit every year. So maybe year 1 is just to finish. And the skill that you're building there is the skill of consistency. And maybe year 2 is your goal is to finish on time because you didn't finish it within 30 days in year 1. So now the skill that you're building is about timing and maybe speed, planning. Year 3, your goal may be to finish on time and to post your creations in social media. So in that case, the skills that you're building are the skill of bravery, which is a huge one, and some social media skills. So then maybe year 4, you may focus on line work for the first time, or telling a story, or creating images that you can sell. Wherever you want to go with your practice, I suggest adding one goal for every year you've worked on the challenge. So in year 1, your goal is to finish. Year 2, you have 2 goals: to finish, number 2, on time. You know, so this year, my 8th year, my goals were to finish on time, to write a book and develop my characters. So that was a goal I picked up last year. I wrote a book for the first time. So this year it's to write a book, working on those characters. The new one this year is to avoid color, although I may add it later at the end to all of these sketches. But I want to work on finding values through my line work and my drawing rather than relying on the crutch of color. My 4th goal is to focus on line work, shading, hatching, stippling, and wash techniques. I did this last year as well. That was a goal that I picked up last year because I wanted to really focus on the ink part of Inktober. But I used color last year, so this year is different in that I don't want to use color. And then, although I am using this sepia brown pen, which gives me a few different tones of brown through certain techniques, so that's kind of nice. Goal number 5 is to develop backgrounds and environments. So you'll see here in this sketch in a few moments where I just sort of give up on that space between the owl's wing and the bottom of the table. I'm not very good at setting my characters into environments, so trying to put this owl into a space with a table and the crystal ball is flexing those skills and learning and growing from there. I think I did a really good job of that in my very first drawing where they were looking at the poster, but not in any of them since. So that's something I want to work on at least, one drawing out of the week, because that does require a little bit more on my part to think about the whole background and the environment rather than just the subject of the sketch. And then to make the most of the opportunity of participating in an industry challenge, I want to create a short for every day for each sketch. I want to do a final read through of the book with the finished sketches. And then, because one of my passions is binding sketches into sketchbooks, I want to create a bookbinding video with these Inktober sketches in it. So those are my goals. What are yours? Leave a message in the comment, because I'd really like to know what types of things we pick as we go through Inktober. Here I am phoning it in for that little section. I felt like it needed something there, but I had no idea what to put there because backgrounds aren't my thing. I'm also going in and using washes for the first time with this drawing. So this drawing and then the next one I do focuses heavily on adding washes, and I also add in 2 different colors, black and white, so it didn't quite feel like cheating. So I have this sepia ink, black ink, and white ink, and look at the magic I create with it. I'm just going to be quiet now so we can watch it happen. I just had to add the still in here so you could appreciate the murkiness of that crystal ball after it's dried. Now, prompt number 5 is deer, and the deer in this story is appearing in the crystal ball. So I'm going to continue to use a brush and water and ink in this wash technique. I don't particularly like this drawing at all, but I do like the way this wash technique turned out. I have problems with long-nosed animals and getting their proportions right. Their faces are always very twisted and very strange looking, so I really do need to work on that. And I discovered just how much I need to work on that in trying to get this drawing out. So it's not my best work, but I did have a lot of fun with this technique. And the next tip here, tip number 6, is the bigger the goal you set, the more you need to plan for it. And you need to plan 2 things. You need to plan your time and you need to plan your sketches. So if you're planning if you set a small goal, I just want to do a doodle for 5 minutes every day based on a Google search for the prompt. That will take you about 5 minutes. You just need to find 5 minutes in your day. You could even decide that you have an hour and you're going to bang out 10 of them. So the beauty of a very small goal is it doesn't really require a whole lot of planning. It's easy to squeeze in 5 minutes of low thinking effort every single day. The more complex you make your goal, like creating a story, doing videos around it, creating art that is sellable at the end, those things require more planning. So I have a couple of tips when it comes to both planning your time and planning your sketches. When you're planning your time, you want to plan ahead for busy times. So you want to make sure that you have any potential travel covered, events or times where you'll be busy covered, and that you still have enough time set aside for proper rest and self-care and time off. So, for an example, I have a business event to be at all weekend. I am not going to be able to do any drawing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, which means I have to plan ahead for those days in order to get them done. That's part of why I can create this video for you today, is because it is October 2nd and I have the first 7 drawings done already because I needed to get them done to plan for a time when I cannot be working on them. Another thing that you want to plan is the size of your work. So I recommend that when you're starting out, you work small. Maybe your first year, you're just doodling on a stack of Post-it notes. In addition to brainstorming the size of your sketch, you want to brainstorm the content as well. So maybe it is you're just going and Googling and drawing the very first thing. Or you spend a little time brainstorming what each prompt means to you. If you want to see how I brainstorm my prompts, I have a video right here that you can take a look at later, and I'll link it again in the description. You want to gather photo references. For most of these, I did searches and found 2 or 3 photo references, or I generated a reference on AI when I couldn't find one. Usually, I'll take 3 or 4 references and try to combine them into making one image. This is not something I am very skilled at. So it is also a skill that I'm learning, how to take multiple references together, pick and choose from each, and come up with a good reference. In this case, I couldn't find the reference I wanted of someone playing a trumpet, so I asked AI to create it for me, and that's not without its problems. There were pieces of it that seemed impossible, that didn't make sense logically. There weren't any shadows. You could see parts that you shouldn't have been able to see because shadows should have been in the way. But I did my best. And especially when it comes to shadows, I really had some challenge. You'll see me in a few minutes start stippling the palm of the hand where you shouldn't be able to see it. It should be relatively dark within shadows. But I thought that it looked like, I don't know, some weird rash on their palm. So then I went and just went very, very dark with it. This is a place where I need to learn and improve. It winds up looking okay, but it definitely could have been better. And it would have been easier if I had had a good photo reference versus an AI reference for this image. But you want to plan those references. You want to make sure you have enough of them that inspire you. And I just get these through Google searches and online searches and AI. I'm not going to use anything directly, and I'm also not going to sell any of my Inktober artwork, so I don't really care to make sure that the references that I use are, I have rights to use them because I'm not going to use them for commercial use. Now, tip number 7 is that the prompts are the challenge. It's kind of a thing on social to hate on the prompts list or complain about it. And I've always felt that that seems kind of bratty and immature-ish. When I think about an art practice, a professional artist will have to draw things they aren't inspired by all the time. So I suggest that if the prompts don't inspire you, just do the drawing anyway. The list comes out on September 1st, and sooner if you're on the Inktober Substack. So don't be distracted by other prompts lists that people publish, because remember, we talked before, too many decisions equals failure. So just do the prompts. Which sort of leads me to tip number 8, which is my best advice that I can give you. Pick a theme that excites you. This really helped with the issue of uninspiring prompts. When you interpret them through the lens of your theme, things just get more interesting. So my first year that I did this was 2022, where I tried to make all of the words somehow related to foxes. And I got 11 done that year, and it more than doubled what I had done the previous 4 years combined. So I knew I was onto something. And then the following year, I made all of my prompts related to my character Lulu, who is my inner child, very, very near and dear to me. And suddenly the issue of uninspiring prompts just wasn't there because it was fun to try to think about how my character would convey that prompt. So, really, this is my absolute best advice for completing Inktober is pick a theme that excites you. If you love mushrooms, somehow make all the prompts about mushrooms. If you love ducks, do a bunch of ducks for a month. Whatever it is that delights and inspires you, if you make all your prompts about that and actually limiting the world of possibilities in front of you, it makes those decisions easier. You don't suffer from the decision fatigue and you just have more fun in the process. Tip number 9 is your tools can grow year over year as you do. So use what you have. A ballpoint pen, a gel pen, a Sharpie marker, and then later you can graduate to a nice set of fineliners, to Copic markers, to trying out colored inks, or even like me, this year I graduated to a glass dip pen, which is incredibly fun to use. Tip number 10 is comparisons are good. Now, don't beat yourself up. We're all on different steps, on different paths. But when you search the Inktober hashtags and you see the work of others that's really good or really inspiring, you want to save that. When you feel that pang of envy, that's a clue about the kind of work that your soul longs to create. Comparisons should inspire you to become the artist that your soul wants to be. Tip number 11, find community. If you don't have one, tag me on Instagram for an encouraging word. Send me a DM if you want feedback or have questions. I'm happy to help. There are a few artists I'm supporting during this challenge, friends of mine, and people supporting me that are friends who want to just support me and watch my videos and comment on all of them. It feels good to have someone in your corner. And because you're watching this video right now, this far into it, know that I'm in your corner and feel free to reach out to me. And finally, tip number 12 is to just have fun, because really, that's what it's all about. Growth can be hard, especially when you are attached to your outcome. Remember, these are just drawings. You can make them again and you can get better. And even if it's an hour of your life and you mess up, who cares? The point is to learn and grow and improve your skills and try new things. And the only way to do that is to do it. Now, all of these sketches that we saw today have storyline associated with them. If you'd like to follow the story along, I have my playlist of shorts right here. And you'll want to subscribe to my channel to get my latest on Inktober, as well as any other art that happens to inspire me. I will see you soon for the next installment of the long-form Inktober videos.